Why does showing up authentically online, why is that now more important than ever before? So if you kind of think about what does showing up authentically mean, more and more people, and especially celebrities, are really kind of making a bit of a movement. I don't know whether you've noticed it as well. They're showing up more real, more themselves, showing the reality rather than this kind of highlight reel. But how can you showing up more authentically online help you and your business? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So do join the conversation with me. Stick around for this whole episode of the Brilliantly You Business Show. And I'd love to hear from you and your thoughts. So stay in for this whole video and join in. So welcome to today's Brilliantly You Business Show. Really happy to have you here. Welcome today. My name is Jenny Stevens. In case we are meeting for the first time, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Like I say, my name is Jenny Stevens and I help coach and train online business owners, helping them to build their business online by being brilliantly them. And this authenticity piece is so important. So I help you to be able to build your brand, utilize and leverage your time, your talents, and your trust. I specialize in teaching about automation and systems. You can leverage your times, you can build that business around your lifestyle, as well as helping you with your mindset. I'm a qualified rapid transformational therapist. And so I help you to remove those limiting beliefs and blocks as well. So that's what I do. Welcome, say happy to have you here and to be here today to talk about this really important topic. And it's something that is really, like I say, I'm really seeing a shift with kind of influencers and celebrities and stuff online. I don't know whether you are noticing it as well. But it's a really important topic that can make a huge difference to your business. So I really want to talk about why it's kind of now, it's more important now more than ever. So let's talk about kind of authenticity. And I'd love to know really, what does being authentic online mean to you? What is that kind of word? And when you think about how you might be showing up online, what does that mean to you? I'd love to kind of hear your thoughts on that and your take on that. So do share that with me in the comments. So like I mentioned, like in terms of celebrities and influencers stuff that I follow, I'm definitely seeing more and more people being more authentic. They are showing more of the reality. You know, you kind of seen those Instagram posts where it's like insta versus, you know, reality. And I'm seeing more and more, sort of, like I say, celebrities and influencers sharing more of their own personal struggles, their journey, the reality of what it's like to be in the spotlight, showing their real bodies, you know, where it's not just airbrushed and poses and stuff. So I can really feel that there's this sort of movement and there's this shift happening on social media, which is so needed. Wouldn't you agree? Especially when we think about the younger generation, you know, these young boys and girls who are looking at Instagram and all these posts on social media, thinking that that's reality, when in fact it's really not. It's a snapshot of what somebody wants you to see. It's the highlight reel, isn't it? You know, we share the best of our lives. We don't, you know, take a selfie when we're crying in the corner over something. So I want you to kind of think about, and we're going to be talking a bit today about how you can find that balance and really help you to step into your own authenticity and step into you being brilliantly you. I'm going to kind of talk about what some of those things are and some of my own sort of journey with it as well, that kind of might help you as well. But like I say, and when you do this as well, it really can affect your business in a great way. Because at the end of the day, the majority of, you know, my audience and, you know, the majority of small businesses, online businesses, we are the brand, isn't it? It's a personal brand where we, you, me, and whoever else, we are the brand. It's you that people are going to kind of fall in love with, so to speak. You know, it's you that people are going to want to follow, not necessarily about what you sell. And so it's even more important to be more yourself and to really show up authentically online. And so there's kind of two sides to the coin of this, which I'm going to talk about today, which will help you. But this whole show, that's why I called it the Brilliantly You Business Show, because I realized after my own journey, I was like, do you know what that I'm really passionate about is helping others, helping you to embrace yourself and really be confident and okay with showing yourself warts and all. Like, I've got wet hair, my face is still red from doing a cycle ride, I've got no makeup on, but this is me. I'm in jeans. I'm actually wearing some jogging bottoms today because it's time of the month and my tummy hurts. So, like, this is me. And I want, but it wasn't always that way. And so I'm going to sort of share a bit about my own journey to help you see that, I wasn't always as comfortable to be so bare and share some vulnerability with you. So, like I say, this episode is really going to help you if you struggle to be more authentic and to show maybe that struggle that maybe you're going through and kind of truly be yourself. Embrace your weirdness, your wackiness, your quirks, your, whatever, and get out of that fear of worrying about what other people think. Because the end of the day, people are going to love you. I harp on about this all the time, but it is so true. And this is where being authentic to yourself and to what you do is going to serve you so much more. So, like I say, what does authentic mean to you? So I looked it up in the dictionary. Okay, so the word authentic means an of undisputed origin and not a copy. It's genuine. And so, what does this mean for your business and your brand? It's to be yourself. Show up as yourself. Like I mentioned, embrace your personality because there is only one you. And so it's about not pretending to be somebody else. I don't know about you, but I know when I first started my business back at the end of 2014, all of a sudden you're kind of thrust into this world. So I started in kind of direct sales and network marketing, thrust into this whole new world of social media, businesses, and, personal development, and was following all of these new people. And you look at these people that you kind of put on a real sort of pedestal, and you look at these leaders or gurus or, little stars, celebrities that you might look at them and think, wow, they're amazing. And you kind of aspire to maybe become them, be like them. But what I found in myself, and so you might relate to this as well, is often we try to sort of be them and copy them and emulate them and do what they do rather than just sort of taking what you can from it. Like, I know I remember doing some videos where I was watching somebody that I followed that I thought was amazing and, pretty much copied the video, like tried to almost be her in like her mannerisms and stuff. I still obviously had my little touch on it, but I tried to just be like her. And you can't ever be anybody else. And so one of the big things is, you can absolutely look at other people that you look up to and aspire to be, role models, people that you think, wow, that's the kind of business or that's the kind of life and impact that I want to make. But I want you to try and avoid trying to be like them, because at the end of the day, you're not them. So instead, it's being yourself, but maybe look at, what is it about them that you really like? Or what is it about them that is inspirational to you? Is it the fact that they're themselves? Is it that they are real and honest? Is it that they drop the F-bomb all the time? Is it that they bring you into their world and share their life with you, their family, their travel, like whatever? Is it that they've got a really great work ethic and they show up consistently no matter what? So kind of have a think about that when you're looking at people that you sort of look up to and you love to follow. What is it about them that is sort of attractive to you? And I'm not in the beauty sense or someone being hot, but the attractiveness of someone who you want to follow. And that would just kind of help to give you something then to work on. So it's not a case of copying what they do, but even if it's looking at some of their behaviors, is it the consistency, the non-negotiables, whatever it is, those are the sorts of things that you can emulate rather than, trying to be like them. And it's quite a common thing, I think. I don't know whether anyone else has done that, but I definitely would quite often, I felt like I sort of needed to be more like them rather than really embracing me. And in the beginning, like I say, when you first start your business, even more so, because we kind of have that feeling of, well, who's going to listen to me? I'm new. Like, I haven't got any results yet, or barely any results. I'm just getting started. Who's going to want to listen to me? Who's going to want to buy from me? And so then we start getting this fear of, we get this imposter syndrome come in. We get the fear of being judged or rejected or being called out, because thinking like, who the hell are we when we're just getting started? We don't feel like we're anything special. But that's just crap, isn't it? You will learn this. If you are kind of newer into your journey, I want you to know that this is crap and that's not reality. And this is just, it's very normal what you're thinking, and you will come out of it. But that kind of fear of being judged and rejected is something that can be quite often be quite can stay with you, and you don't even always realize it. So the more authentic you can be to yourself, the more attractive you will become. People can smell fake, can't they? Like, you can just tell when someone's being fake. They're putting it on a bit, it's kind of like, oh dude, like, what are you doing? And so even if you're not aware of it, it can come across to other people. And so you really want to just lean into, it's who you are. And the cool thing is that even if you are new and maybe you're sort of thinking about what kind of content and stuff to create, you can still take other people's content and put your spin on it. What did you take away from a video that somebody did that you watched? What was your perception and angle on a chapter, a book that you just read? Only you have your point of view and how you understand things and how you are taking things and applying it. And so even if you don't have to be completely original in terms of the content that you're creating, but how you explain it, how you teach others, how you, like I say, how you portray it, that's what's unique. The other thing, part of it as well, is also I've noticed that the authenticity, it's not just about how we show up in terms of our personalities, but also it's about alignment. So I've kind of realized that alignment is another form of authenticity, because if you're not in alignment with what you're doing or what you're selling, then like the universe, picks up on that. The energy that you put out, it's felt again, without you even realizing it. And so what can sometimes happen is that you end up getting pissed off and frustrated that you're not making any sales. You're like, what's going on? Like, I'm putting this offer out, no one's buying it. But maybe in the back of your mind, you're not quite in alignment with it. Maybe there's something that's causing you to be a slight, mismatch. The alignment's not quite there. And so therefore you won't be as authentic when you're delivering it, when you're promoting it, because there's something that's not quite in alignment. And so for me, I'm going to tell you kind of a little bit about how this affected me personally. I have evolved so much in my business over the last 6.5 years. And for quite a while, I sort of ignored the feeling of being in misalignment. I tried to fight it because the reality was it was easier. It was easier for me to stay with what I knew, with what people knew me for, in like communities that I was in, because that had kind of been the norm, and if you've been on any of some of my other videos before, I've talked about how our mind works. Our mind will try to keep us comfortable and what we are familiar with. So it's sometimes easier to just sort of stick with something because you know what to do, you can do things. But I sort of was transitioning, I moved away from, I wasn't in network marketing anymore. I was wanting to sort of expand a bit and, like I say, do my own courses and products and stuff. And because I wasn't in a particular industry anymore, I sort of felt like, well, am I a bit of an imposter, but and so parts of that played on my mind for a while. But eventually, so this is when last year I had a big shift because I really realized that I had to be true to myself and didn't feel like it was this should, the word should, it was kind of like, oh, I should just kind of stick with what I'm doing rather than really leaning into my own intuition and my trust. So last year I took a big shift, that's why I did a lot of rebranding, a lot of kind of soul searching to really align myself again with what am I doing? What do I want to do in my business? Who do I want to work with? Who do I want to help? And not be so kind of stuck in just because that's what I've done up until now. So that was a big piece in my own authenticity. And, I created this show. I'm, creating some awesome stuff that's going to be coming soon. Obviously, everything takes time, to kind of really get there. But it definitely, I know for myself in my heart, I feel now probably the most authentic, and I'm more in alignment now, showing up as myself more than I ever have done. Okay. But anyway, so I want to now kind of just give you some things that can help you in your business. Okay. So a big thing, like I've already kind of talked about, but I'm just going to talk a bit more about, is don't be afraid to be yourself. All right. So something I want you to think about, if you're kind of like, well, maybe you think you are showing up authentically, but I want you to just kind of answer these questions, whether in your own mind or if you want to even go and ask your friends or whatever, you can do. I've done this before and it was quite interesting, actually. So if you asked your friends what they love most about you, or how would they describe you, what would they say? And if you want to share any of them in the comments, feel free. Please feel free. I'd love to kind of see what you think. So what would they say? How would they describe you? What do they love most about you? So would they say that maybe they love your sense of humor? They love how real and honest you are. Would they say that you swear like a trooper? Totally describing me, by the way. Would they say that you take care of everybody that you come across? Like you're a real like mother hen or something. What would they say about you? What is that? I want you to ask yourself those questions and lean into that and show more of that online. And the cool thing is, social media, we have an incredibly powerful tool with social media and other online methods where you can really get your message in front of so many people. And like I say, I think now more than ever, it's kind of like our duty to be more real. There is so much bullshit online, isn't there? There's so much hate and putting people down, and there's so much fakeness and stuff on social media. And I'm so glad to see, like I say, celebrities and influencers starting to embrace their platforms more and see their responsibility, that they've got all of these people kind of looking up to them. And so if they're always perfect, which there's no such thing, then, like I say, especially the younger generation, look at them and they're going to feel crap about themselves, when in reality that's not what these people look like. They've got cellulite, they've got spots, they've got maybe they've got bald spots on their hair because they've dyed their hair so much, or like whatever it is, they've got their own self-esteem issues, and so I'm really enjoying seeing this kind of movement happening. And so I think, even though you may, we're not like celebrities, but you have still got your own platform, your own audience that are going to be looking up to you. Believe it or not, there will be people that look at you as that person. And so the more authentic you can be, the better. Not only is it going to kind of make it the new norm on social media, but also it's going to help you in your business. Okay. So it's not about hiding reality. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to share everything with people. Obviously, you can keep your private life. You can control how much you share of that. There's boundaries, of course. But the piece that I want you to kind of listen into for your own kind of inner chatter is, if you kind of go to say something and think, oh, I better not say that. Or if you want to share something and you think, oh, I don't know if I want to share that because it feels a little bit uncomfortable, but part of you wants to, and you're like, oh, I don't know what people are going to think. That's your sign. That's your trigger to be, oh, so there's something there that's stopping you because you're wanting to maybe say something, whether it's an opinion, or if you want to be a little bit controversial, or if it's swearing, or like whatever it is. If you sort of go to do something and something pulls you back, and it's the bit of that fear of being judged or called out or something, that's kind of a sign about that you're not truly being authentic to yourself. Okay. So how come you don't want to show it? So say for me, like, I swear a lot. Everyone who knows me, I say fuck a lot. When I'm with my friends and kind of in my natural habitat, so to speak, I say it all the time. But again, in the beginning of my business, I wouldn't swear because I didn't think it was very professional. I tried to be almost perfect sort of thing. But fuck it, like, I don't care anymore because actually it is me. And not that I'm not like Gary Vaynerchuk sort of thing, where he, like, every other word is fuck. I don't just swear sort of for the sake of it, like to be cool or anything. But if it slips out because I'm really passionate about something, so be it. I don't care. I have people sometimes occasionally comment to say, oh, Jenny, you swore. Yeah, I did. If you don't like it, see ya. If someone's offended by the word fuck, then I'm not necessarily going to be their perfect favorite person, and that's fine. And I don't mind that now. And so it's kind of a journey. So I kind of encourage you and challenge you to look at areas where you might be trying to be perfect, or feeling like you should be something online, and see how might you be able to just take the walls down a notch and show up a little bit more as if you were with your friends or your family, because people are going to love seeing that real, authentic you. Okay. And just see then how different it feels for you and how it comes across to your audience. I bet you watch videos or you read maybe written posts. It doesn't always have to be in kind of video form. But if you were going to be reading something and you can feel someone's, their personality kind of shines through in their writing, I bet you feel more comfortable with that person. You feel like you can relate to them more. And that's what you want people to feel about you. Okay. So really, like I say, don't be afraid to be yourself. All right. Now, the second piece of this is more about authenticity when it comes to sharing more of your story and your vulnerability. Sharing stories online is one of the most impactful ways that you can connect to your audience and also make sales too. You've got that saying, facts tell, stories sell. So telling stories, and it is a skill that you can learn, but I would highly encourage you to get into that. Really think about how you can tell stories in your marketing that can promote your products. So an easy way is to share parts of your own journey, because a lot of the time we either started our business because of a journey you've gone through, whether it's with physical products or a skill that you've decided to learn or whatever it is. So share a story with your audience about something that happened to you that relates to your business. So if you're going to be creating content about a particular problem, if you let's say you're going to do a Facebook Live tomorrow and you're going to talk about one little problem that comes into what your target market sort of suffer with, then think about a time, an experience that you had that relates to that, and share a bit of a story. And it's so, so impactful. But the extra piece is to remember to bring a little bit of vulnerability and emotion into it, because that's the piece that makes more impact. But it can be sometimes the harder piece to do. Again, because sometimes we feel vulnerable, we feel maybe a bit exposed. But that's the bit that is really going to make a huge impact into, again, that relationship that you're building with people, and helping people to feel like they know you more and actually want to take action. Every single week, I work with a community of entrepreneurs who are learning all about this. They're learning about attraction marketing, using social media, branding themselves, creating content, telling stories. And so I help them all the time with taking what they've got, and a lot of the time it's adding that extra layer of emotion to it and vulnerability. I'm going to kind of I'm going to kind of give you two versions of a very little brief piece about me. And I just want you to see the difference and see how each one kind of makes you feel. Okay. So I could very easily sort of, like I say, tell you about a story about how I got started in my business, because I was bored. I needed to find something in my life that could be for me, as a hobby, just get a bit of extra money to take the pressure off. I was kind of a bit sick and tired of just going to work, doing in that rat race of, work, home, dinner, TV, sleep. And that's how I got started in my business back in 2014. So if you read that or you heard me say that, it's quite sort of matter of fact, and you'd be kind of like, okay, so what, Jenny? you know? So this is me sort of pushing myself out of my own comfort zone. But when I go a level deeper now and say that actually the reason was I was bored and quite unfulfilled. I was bored of that rat race of doing the whole work, job, home, dinner thing. But actually, it was also so much more than that, because my husband and I had been trying for a baby for probably 4 years at that time. We were almost ready to start having some actual treatment. I was watching my friends and my family get pregnant and go off and start their families and start this whole new world. My husband and I would only ever argue about money, bicker about money. It was constantly waiting for payday, which was just exhausting, constantly watching every penny. And I was in a job that I was just really unfulfilling. It wasn't really me. But because I was wanting to be a mum so badly, I thought, well, I can't really necessarily leave because of, maternity pay and all of that sort of stuff. So I felt really trapped in this rut, like I say, of going to work, coming back, waiting for payday constantly, and feeling like I was left behind in life. So let me ask you, does that make you feel like you can connect with me more? Does that let you know that you kind of know a bit more of the real me? Would that, if you were reading that, would you kind of want to keep reading through more of that? And that's the power of authentic stories. And that was like a snippet, but and it's still a little bit uncomfortable for me to share some of that stuff. Obviously, it's very personal, but it's something that, again, it's a journey. So I want you to just kind of challenge yourself of, not to mean that you have to share your dirty laundry or, things that are really personal to you. My fertility journey is a huge, it's the biggest vulnerability piece of my entire life. And there's so much that I want to share. Um, but again, I haven't felt ready to. And there is part of this fear of judgment and weird stuff that I've recently worked on. And so now I'm feeling a little bit more confident to talk about it. So, and like I say, there's things that I've never shared some things with you, my audience here, but it's not even about necessarily what you say. It's not necessarily about what the journey is, but it's about you learning how to describe things. It's about you learning how to just share a bit more of the reality. And just when you do that, like I say, it gets people to know you on a whole different level. It gets people to see that, oh, they're not perfect. She is a normal person. She's going through her own struggles, he or she. Um, and it just makes a huge impact into your authenticity, and how your audience will actually respond to that. So telling stories is a great way to share your experiences about how you got to where you are now. What was it that prompted you to start a business? What is it that keeps you going? What is it that drives you? Share journeys about how you used a certain product and how it felt before you found it. This is a big thing, is, when you are selling stuff, um, one of the best lessons that you can learn is how to describe and talk about how you or other people feel before. Because at the end of the day, selling a product, it's taking somebody from before to after. So you've got to know what those before things. And a lot of the time, we are the product. We are our starting point in terms of our target market. So, so don't be afraid to share a bit of that vulnerability. If you sell weight loss stuff, try and get a little bit more emotional and vulnerable about what it really felt like for you looking in the mirror or trying on your clothes and seeing that you're just constantly feeling too tight, or you're out of breath all the time when you walk up the stairs. Like, try and lean into that more. And that authenticity is going to serve you in so many ways. Okay. And then at the end of the day, your solution is whatever you sell. If your thing, whatever you sell is that solution, that's then how you can make sales. And trust me when I say, people will relate to it so much more. You'll actually find you'll get a hell of a lot more engagement when you're a little bit more open, and vulnerable. Like I say, you don't have to sit there crying on a Facebook Live, but just being okay with sharing things that you feel comfortable with, but it really will make a big difference. And just remember as well, it is a skill and it will take practice and doing things, but just start. Just have a go. Or even if it's you're talking in a video, try to talk or write as if, imagine you've got a friend sitting opposite you and you're having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or whatever your, thing is, and you're just talking about it. And that's kind of how it can come across then, really natural and authentic. And then the third one is keep your authenticity in conversations. So again, this is another sort of angle with authenticity. So last week I talked about how to rejection proof your business. So we're talking about some of the tactical things that you can do with, not looking at your audience like they're just numbers and, money signs sort of thing. Instead, looking at them as people and being a human first. So if you haven't, gone through that episode, definitely go and check out that on my blog. But when it comes to having conversations with potential customers or clients, it can often start with that hidden agenda. And because we're just so focused, we want to make a sale. We're like, oh, we really want to get our business going. We really want to, hit your targets, or you're worried about, I've got bills to pay. I've really got to make some sales. And so, an easy way to kind of get things going is to go into your warm market and try and have conversation with people in Messenger, for example. You might even be taught to go into groups and friend request people and, start conversations in order to get new leads or sales. That's stuff that is taught, unfortunately. But growing an audience and talking to people is vital. So, because it is a relationship business. So you've got to learn how to do it in an authentic way that takes rid of that agenda and it focuses more on building the relationship. So like I said, I talked a little bit about this in the last episode. So it's about make that agenda starting with purely just growing your network. Think about it like you're just wanting to surround yourself in your Facebook newsfeed, your friends list, like wherever you're kind of doing your thing, that you're just surrounding yourself with like-minded people that you can get to know. There's going to be, I've got friends, Facebook friends with people in so many different types of businesses. And it's lovely to see them all doing their own thing. And I get to see actually the similarities about even, like everything I teach. Yes, I started with network marketing, but the strategy that I use is exactly the same, whether I am, like obviously when I qualified with my therapy qualification last year, the exact same strategy works for therapists, it works for coaches, it works for small businesses, it works for freelancers, service-based businesses. It works, it's across the board. And so that's where for me, I still talk about the same stuff. I still do, I practice what I preach. I do attraction marketing, but I'm just not now anymore. I haven't been for a few years. I'm not focused on building a network marketing team and a business, but the strategy is exactly the same. So, my friends list, I've got, network marketers, I've got direct sellers, I've got service-based businesses, I've got coaches, I've got therapists, I've got all sorts of people that are in my friends list, which is great. But I'm not, I don't add them as friend, or I don't accept their friend requests because I think, oh, what can I get out of them? What can they give me? But especially when you are having conversations, at the end of the day, you never know. By having a bit of an eclectic friends list, you don't know, you never know when you might need something and you see them posting about it and think, oh, actually, I really could do with some help on whatever it is, and vice versa. You never know when somebody that you meet actually might need what you do. But rather than making Messenger become a pitch fest, which it's horrible, isn't it? When somebody friend requests you and you accept it and they go straight in for either adding you to a fucking group or they send you a pitch. That's the quickest way to getting yourself unfriended and blocked. And so, how might you be able to be more authentic with conversation? So when you're in Messenger, trying to keep that authenticity and integrity there. So one of the easiest things to do is to take an interest in them, ask questions. So if you reached out because you saw a post saying, so maybe you saw a post from somebody saying, oh, does anybody know anyone who sells XYZ? Or does anybody know anyone that could help me to quit smoking? Or or I'm really struggling with XYZ. Can anyone offer any suggestions? People will post stuff all the time. I had a couple of clients actually with my therapy thing that came from that, where I just then sort of commented to say, I've just qualified in a new hypnotherapy. If you're interested, I could talk you through what it entails, sort of thing. And he was like, yes, please. And so my very first paying client was a guy from our town who wants to quit smoking. And I was like, and I said, and so my authenticity with this is a good example, actually. I was like, hey, I've just qualified. I haven't done a stop smoking one before, but this can absolutely help you. I gave him like an introductory price and I explained everything. And he was like, yeah, no, let's give it a go. And so that was great. So I was upfront to say, look, I haven't done this before with this particular thing. It's not going to be my area that I'm going to specialize in, but I'm happy to see what I can do for you. And so that was how I got my first paying client for that new skill, which was really cool. But anyway, so if you do see somebody post something, rather than what some people do, these mistakes that some people make, is they'll go into their messenger and say, hey, I saw you posted about this. Here's a link, like here's a product, like trying to sell. That's not going to work. Like I say, that's going to be a really quick way to get someone to potentially reject you and say no, or they'll just ignore you or hit the unfriend button or whatever. So instead, flip it around. Instead, ask questions. Say, hey, I saw your post and just wanted to reach out and say, oh, I totally get it. I had a similar problem myself. What's it been like for you? That is so much more inviting to actually want to start a conversation than here you go and just kind of vomiting your products on them. Or if somebody reaches out to you first, then you can ask questions to say, okay, so tell me more about what made you want to reach out. What's going on for you right now? And so it just makes, it's going to be more authentic and genuine. And they're actually going to feel like you give a shit. You're genuine rather than just trying to sell them something. And also, like I say, they're actually going to be more likely to open up and talk about what it is that they're experiencing right now. And that can then lead to a sale if it's right. So another piece is that when it comes to that is it's okay if when you're having a conversation, and you're not going to know this unless you actually ask questions and have a conversation. And so this is where being more authentic and having more integrity in your messenger conversation is going to serve you and them. Because you might find that they're talking about whatever their problem is, and you're like, yeah, do you know what? What the product that I found or what I do can really help you. I had this exact same thing, or I had something really, really similar. And, I created this service, or, whatever it is that you sell. If you're a coach, or, you provide a service for people, or say if it's physical products as well, but you can be like, this can absolutely help you. Would you like me to send you some of the details? And so they're going to be much more likely to say, oh, yes, please. But equally, if it's not a right fit for them, having that authenticity and integrity to say, it's not actually, yeah, this isn't quite the best thing for you, but maybe somebody who does have something, and say, actually, I've got a friend who does this, and I think that would be a much better fit for you. Here's their details. Or it might just be to say, oh, I'm really sorry, but yeah, it's not quite right for you. But let me know if you find something, or you can make some recommendations. And so that's going to build so much more honesty. And like I say, they are going to feel like you really care, because you're not bullshitting them. You're not just trying to make a sale when actually it might not actually be the right fit for them. And so having that authenticity, the honesty, and the integrity to say, actually, no, this isn't quite, it's not quite what I do isn't quite there for you, but happy to help in other ways, or whatever. So and when you are using Messenger, it's just really important to remember that. Don't try, and it's like trying to force, like a square thing into a round hole. Like, it's just, don't try and force it and make it fit if it's genuinely not. Okay. So to kind of recap, authenticity comes in many forms. It's being yourself and embracing your personality and quirks. Open up a bit and share your journey and vulnerability. And keep that authenticity and integrity in your conversations. And so stepping into more of your authentic self, it can be difficult. And it is a journey in itself. Like I say, I didn't start out that way, and I'm still working on things. But like I say, now, nearly 7 years on, I am now more myself. And I probably have been for the last 2 to 3 years, maybe. I'm more myself now online with my audience, with you guys, than ever before. And it's great. It's so freeing. It's so much easier. It's so much more fun because I just get to be me. And people that want to hang out with me, awesome. People that don't, okay, that's okay. They'll find someone who they can really relate to. Yeah, it's just really, really powerful. And the most recent shift, like I say, actually more recently, was when I dug into a little bit more into, because even though I'm myself, but it's quite easy. I sent an email to my list actually yesterday, where I was talking about, I actually find it easier to talk to strangers about my personal life than I do with, like, not necessarily my friends, but people that I know, like more acquaintances, people that I know that live nearby. So, I've shared some quite personal things in today's episode, but there's people who live near me that haven't got a clue. And I think it's because there is this sort of a bit of a barrier between us. But and I'm a bit of a people pleaser. I've always been a bit of a people pleaser. And the reason is that, again, it's that fear of being judged, fear of somebody, I hate it. I do hate it. Again, it doesn't last for very long, but if I have got a post or an ad out there and somebody leaves a negative comment, like I've had a couple where someone, been told, I've been told to go and fuck myself, it's like, okay. But it's not nice. And I have this, oh God, and my heart goes and I want to reply and retaliate and say, and I feel a bit hurt and judged and oh my God. And then I kind of have to remind myself that this person means nothing to me. That's just their opinion. That's not on me. That's on them. Um, Off they go. But there is still this fear of rejection and judgment in me. So I've been working on this myself recently, which more of my personal kind of issues came up, and came to light. And so this is where I'm really like leaning into this myself now. And so it's one of the big drivers for me doing this new workshop. So if you haven't kind of seen, I'm doing a new live workshop next Tuesday, which is all about the fear, getting rid of that fear of rejection and judgment. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a mixture of conscious work and some subconscious work using RTT, where we're going to kind of help you to identify what your blocks are when it comes to that. What's causing you to stay a little bit in the shadows, to not be showing your full authentic self online, for your business and stuff, and to see then how can we break through that and clear that path so that you can feel more confident to do all the things that we talked about today in this episode, so that you can feel more confident to share and open up a bit about your journey, so that you can feel more confident to be more yourself and not worry so much about what people think. I mean, we're all human at the end of the day. There's always going to be a little piece of that. But if it's stopping you and you stop yourself from doing things that you kind of really want to do, and you just feel that you're just not quite in alignment, or you're just not quite being who you really want to be, then definitely join me on this workshop. Okay. So you can sign up. So we've still got an early bird. The early bird is going to end very, very soon. So you can sign up. So if you're here with me live, you can go to the link that I've just put into the comments. It's jennystevenscoaching.com/rejection. If you're watching this later on, check around this video for the description, where there'll be a link to that resource and also the show notes. And I'll put the resource into the show notes. You'll get a replay for 2 weeks, access to the replay for 2 weeks. There is an early bird price right now of £56. And then that's only for the first 5 people. So there's only a couple of spots left, after which it's going to go up to £111. So definitely grab that early bird spot. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited. So I've got to get busy getting everything ready for that this weekend. Like I say, if you're feeling like there's just something is just getting in the way and you feel yourself sort of hiding in the shadows a bit, and there's something where you're just not quite being your authentic self, you're curious, then definitely come along and we can work together and really help you to, step out of the shadows and be brilliantly you even more. Okay. So I hope to see you there. All of the, I'd say, resources and also this episode I'll put together into show notes. that I put together every single week. So if you would like to get the show notes of this week's episode, you can just either, again, if this is afterwards, you can check around this video for the link. So I have the video in there, then I have a written summary for those people that either don't like videos or like to read, and kind of a summary. And also all of the resources. So I'll put the link to the workshop in there. I'll also put more of a tactical thing in there that really helped me, kind of what I talked about last week in terms of rejection proofing your business. I'll put a couple of resources in there for you that can help you with how you're marketing, which can be a big help as well. All right. So definitely check out those show notes for all of those good stuff. And get yourself signed up for the workshop. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fab. This is a brand new one. I've not done this before, so that's why I've done this kind of early bird introductory price. So grab your spot before they all go. And I can't wait to kind of do that with those people that are signed up so far and everybody else. If this video, obviously, if you're watching this after this workshop has happened, still check around the show notes for any either other resources that might be there. Or there might be a waiting list or something where you can sign up for the next one. All right. All right. Okay. So I went a little bit longer than I wanted to today, but it was a great topic. I hope you found this useful. If you did, do just comment in #value if you found this valuable and this was helpful for you. It's like I say, it's certainly a really important topic. Like I say, now more than ever, we need to be showing the world that it's okay to love ourselves and to love ourselves more. And we do that by us showing up more authentically. And so, we've got this amazing platform with these platforms to do that. And so now it's just a case of stepping into your own awesome self and showing people what you're made of, because you are amazing. All right. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll be back next week for another episode of the Brilliantly You Business Show. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon. Bye.